What's up, everybody? My name's Trey. This is Denzel. We're back with another episode of the podcast, Better Days Sports. And a good one coming to you because Denzel's in person today. We're not on Zoom, so you love to see it. Love my boy stopping by. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about just some of the main takeaways from March Madness because I know there's a lot. We're just going to hit on kind of the key points of, the tournament, March Madness in general, kind of just how we're feeling about college basketball because a lot of changes, NIL deals, lottery picks going off. Women's basketball is now in the prime. It seems like it's ever been. So a lot of stuff to cover. But if you are new to the channel, new to the pod, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified every time we post a video. Leave a comment in the comment section down below of what are some key takeaways that we didn't get to or that you really wanted to hear about. But Denzel, go ahead and take us away on some of these lottery picks and how you're feeling, man.
Yeah, of course we got Cooper Flagg, and how I feel about him. Cooper Flagg is a guy that can come in right away and do a lot of good things, but I don't think he's a franchise player. To be honest, I don't think anybody from this lottery that we have is a franchise player, and that's no knock on any of them. I just think right now the game is in a different space, and it's at a turning point. We're seeing a switch of a prototype player and what a franchise player really is. And I think it's going back to the bigs. I really do think it is, for the 2010s all 2010s, honestly. It was really guard heavy, really guard dominant. You had to have a really dynamic guard, which you still do now, but there's such a surplus of dynamic guards that nowadays teams really need that dynamic big. If you notice, every team that has a real dynamic big, they're going deep into the playoffs, whether it be the Indiana Pacers, the Boston Celtics, so on and so forth, right? So with that being said, I think all of these guys are pieces. Cooper Flagg being a piece. And do I think he's the best piece off the board? For the lottery, no, I don't, but I understand he's blue chip. He has the length, he has the athleticism. And again, I think his ceiling is somebody like Andre Karolinko, just because he was a piece guy, a role player. His floor, once again, is Darius Miles, just being a lob threat and a defensive guy. And then, right kind of in that middle zone of just being a long journeyman that can really just get it done on whatever team you want him to and be a piece, whether it be starter or off the bench, Larry Nance Jr. What do you think?
Look, I'm a little bit higher on Cooper Flagg than my boy over here, but I think he lived up to the hype of college in the sense of we knew he was super skilled. We saw him play against NBA caliber players with whether it be USA runs, and he definitely held his own in those games, in those runs, and he showed that in a class of very skilled guards, for the most part, he kind of separated himself. He did exactly what we thought he was going to do at Duke. He dominated on both sides of the ball. He was able to stretch the floor. He was able to shoot the three, finish at the rim. He was versatile. He defended multiple positions. So I think in college, he showed exactly what you wanted from a number one overall pick. Now, will that necessarily translate when he gets to the pros? Yet to be seen. But I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do. And I think all of these lottery picks did just that. They showed versatility. They showed skill sets where you're like, oh, that's an NBA level player. It just has to translate into the actual game when they get drafted. And big thing specifically for NBA players, it depends on where you go. Because you can be the most skilled player in the world, but if you go to the Hornets, you're not winning games. It does not matter. So,
big things popping, little things stopping.
Very true. Now, when we're looking at not only Cooper Flagg, next we got Dylan Harper. Mr. All-Around, Mr. Control the Offense, Mr. Will I be a killer in the league? I don't know. I don't know. I see a lot of good things from him. Like I said, mainly it's versatility. He's able to pass. He's able to initiate the offense. He's able to knock down shots. Some people said that he's just a bigger Jalen Brunson. It's probably because he's left-handed. I don't know if that's necessarily a fair comp because Jalen's out here defying all odds, scoring at will. It doesn't matter who's guarding him at any level, college, pros, it does not matter. So I don't know if he's necessarily a Jalen Brunson type of person, but I do like kind of, I guess the nickname that they're giving him is Mr. All-Around because he can do everything when it comes to initiating the offense. How are you feeling about Dylan Harper?
Dylan Harper is a guy that I think is Scoot Henderson 2.0.
Okay.
The reason being is because, yes, we know he can play make. Yes, we know he can get to the basket. But right now he doesn't have that wicked jump shot. He really needs a wicked jump shot. That's one thing that we see Peyton Pritchard have. That's one thing we see Nimhard have. And, those guys are all the type of guys that are in his wheelhouse. So if you are a smaller guard, that jump shot needs to be lethal. I mean, no questions about it. Same with the free throws. You have to shoot a high clip from the free throw line as well, too. Because when you get there, whether it be in a bonus or a regular foul, shooting foul that is, you need to knock it down. So if you're not shooting at 85 above or close to 85, I don't see it. So I don't think he's necessarily going to be a bad player, right? Because Scoot Henderson isn't bad, but I think that the Summer League and possibly even some G League play will help his game out a lot. I don't see this guy coming in and just setting the league on fire. And that's no knock against Dylan Harper. I could be wrong. But that's why we talk about this right now. Because if I'm right, then I'm going to be like, I was right. If I was wrong, I'm going to be like, I was wrong.
The comments will say so.
Yep. Y'all will let me know. Y'all will keep me honest. That's what we do here. We keep it honest. Ace Bailey. No, I'm kidding. This is the one guy who I think, believe it or not, has more upside than Cooper Flagg.
I agree.
Simply just because I think his motor on both ends of the ball is a little higher. Cooper Flagg, a little up and down. Ace Bailey, no up and down. Consistent at the same level the entire time, right? And that's no knock against Cooper Flagg. I'm just giving out a comparison since they both around the same height, right? And I think that this is a guy who, again, can go to any contender, but if he goes to a team on his own, not on his own, but where he's expected to be kind of a franchise guy, I could see him doing things like somewhat of a Jaren Jackson, but not as high offensive output, right? But you'll still see him getting those 12, 5, 7 type of games with one block, one steal, those type of things. This is a guy who I think, again, defensively, his upside is a lot more than Cooper Flagg, being that I see him being able to guard a little bit better at the next level and maybe not make as many plays, depending on how the coaches want him to play, but he can switch and rotate like no other. And I don't know if Cooper Flagg will be able to do that, but the potential is obviously there with Cooper Flagg too. But yeah, that's what I think about Ace Bailey. I think Jaren Jackson-esque, and if not, then Evan Mobley. That's another guy who's kind of built similar to him, and I think has a similar type of game as far as being able to get it done at all three levels on offense, mid-range, low post, or around the basket, since, not too many low post players. And then step out, shoot that three, of course, too. And then on defense, again, you can rotate and switch. Do I think he's a center in the modern NBA? I do.
You think Ace Bailey's a center?
In the modern NBA, I do. I know it sounds crazy, but in the modern NBA, sitting at 6'10", 6'11", I don't see weight being as important as it used to be as of right now. Do I think, as time goes on, these next 2 to 3 years, sure, he'll probably bounce around from power forward, play a little bit of backup center. But as of right now, everybody is still, kind of in that lighter body weight area. And, if you're not Sengun, or if you're not Joker, if you're not Embiid, those type of bigs stand out. Sabonis. And there's some more guys, too. Like, I think the guy who just had a decent game for the Warriors. I was just talking about him in the other video. I think Post. Post is his name. He had a decent little game, too. Who's the guy in Utah? Not Laurie. Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler is another decent big body. So I think he'll be fine, man. That's why I say I think he will be paired with the right setup, the right matchup. He will be able to play center for sure, no doubt about it. My fault. I was supposed to be 6'9", so just talking about bigs is just like natural. I just feel like it's in my wheelhouse. You feel me? Because if I was about 14, 17 inches taller, this conversation would be different.
Double the height that I was.
Pretty much.
Yeah. See, so this is where I feel drastically different. I feel like he is a 3 guard. He is going to play very similar to KD in terms of he's long, he's lengthy, he's going to be able to create his own shot off the dribble, but he's not going to be a person you're going to find in the post. He's not going to be a person that you really see like going after rebounds and doing that type of thing. I think that player is actually Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flack's going to have to
KD.
develop his game more back to the basket, give me at the high post. Can I take my man one-on-one and not necessarily start at the three-point line? Because I just don't think his handle is necessarily like that. But when I look at Ace Bailey, I do see a handle. I see a pull-up jumper. I see a person that can step out and shoot the three. He's more of a finesse type of player, where I see Cooper Flagg as more of being extremely physical, running in fast break, finishing at the rim. So I didn't think you were going to go center. I definitely see my boy as a guard, a tall guard, but he's going to play the three. Like I said, KD.
Modern center.
A young Paul George is what I see Ace Bailey actually being. Then next up, VJ Edgecombe. This is a player, when you look at him, height, weight, wingspan, he just has a pro body, and he's a pro body of a two guard. My pro comp for him is actually Iman Shumpert, which, if you don't know, Iman Shumpert was one of the most athletic players in the league in his prime before some injuries. He was able to step out, hit the three. He was able to handle the rock. The problem with him specifically, his game didn't develop because he was playing with other ball-dominant guards. He played with Melo. He played with J.R. Smith. He played with LeBron. And obviously the offense is going to run completely through those players, and I feel like if he was on more of his own team and given more leeway, he would have been able to show you much more skill set and much more of a bag. And I think that's what VJ Edgecombe is going to give you. It's going to be great defense, spot up shooter, and then some really athletic, fun highlights when it comes to finishing at the rim. How you feel about VJ?
You know, I think he's one of these guys that a lot of old heads will appreciate this comparison when I say it. So I'm just going ahead and say it. He's baby Jordan 3.0.
Who's 2.0?
Harold. Who's 2.0?
Yeah, who's 2.0?
Who is 2.0?
Butler? Jimmy Butler?
Who is 2.0?
Playoff Jimmy?
Stop. Sorry.
Wade. That's who he was going with.
First of all, old heads, I'm sorry. He don't know no better.
All right,
He's still a little wet behind the ears. He still got a little bit of Similac. He still got a little fuzzy ball on the back of his socks.
Look, if y'all go ahead and put in the comments who y'all think Jordan 2.0 is, because I promise you your answer is going to be different than this man's. So go ahead, put it in the comments down below.
Jordan 2.0. Harold Miner. Baby Jordan. That's right, we taking it all the way back to the 90s because that's what this guy's game reminds me of. He's another 6'5" guy, Harold Miner, 6'5", and he just is stupidly athletic. I mean, the type of athletic that you wonder how did you start doing that? Did you lift weights? Did you do this cool plyometrics program? What did you do? And then he's just like, it's just natural, you know. I don't even know, you know. I just started running and jumping one day, and I just hit my
Jeff Teague. He said the same thing on his
I hit my head on the ceiling when I was 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's what he kind of reminds me of. He's not the most polished player by far, but again, his athleticism is going to carry him in the league. He's one of those guys too, you know, just outside of the Harold Miner, Baby Jordan comparison. Somebody like who is that? DJ. Oh my goodness.
Him.
Oh my goodness. Jones? Oh man, he a left hand cat. He used to play for the Miami Heat. Derrick Jones. That's his name. Let me see. Derrick Jones. Derrick Jones. Let me see. Hold on now. That's why we got the laptop right here.
That's why
Derrick
it can't be Jordan 3.0.
Derrick Jones Jr. to be exact. Yep. That's another cat who he reminds me of, man. Derrick Jones Jr. didn't have a jump shot either. He's still in the league today because of his freakish athleticism. You can't teach that. You can't teach that. And VJ has shown that, you know, he'll chase you down.
Facts.
Like a cheetah on a Serengeti. He just you know what I'm saying? He gonna chase you down. He'll get a block. He'll get a steal. So he's must see. He'll put people in seats. He's I like him. I like guys that you look at and it's like, wow, he's athletic. Because sometimes skill guys, you have different type of skill. You have shooting, passing, dribbling. Some guys are more cerebral, crafty. But when somebody is just a freak of nature athlete, it's like just put film on and you just. It's a marvel to watch. It's like no matter how many times you see it, it's like, wow. So I really like him a lot, and I think that he's another guy that all these lottery picks will be around for a while. I don't think nobody is just going to just fall out of contention at all, And that's the whole point of being a lottery pick. You've proven yourself in the college ranks enough and played enough competition, whether it be college, AAU, and so on and so forth, because there are guys coming from overseas and different other programs as well, too, or governing bodies, whatever you want to call it, OTE and things like that, that have shown they can do it at a high level better than others, and that's why they're going to get drafted in the lottery and get that second deal, that big money. You dig? So I like VJ, and baby Jordan 3.0. 3.0. 3.0.
That's what you said. But that's kind of just going over the lottery picks, just kind of a rundown of them. Like I said, they all played up to what we thought they would. Now, did their teams necessarily win it all? Did they go as far as we thought their teams would? No, but you can look at these players, obviously, and see that they are NBA caliber players. That's exactly what you want to see from your lottery picks. You don't want to see players who show hints of skill and then disappear for the whole season. You're like, well, he had 3 games really early on where he looked like an NBA player. Sure, he fell off, but he didn't continue his play. So I think we saw really consistent, really good basketball out of all of these players. Now, some other news that we had, and probably the most astonishing to myself, would be Amar Kane, the student manager, who is now one of the highest paid NIL, I don't know, he's not a player, faculty member? What is he considered? I don't even know. Team members?
Similar to all other now loosely employees or independent contractors. I don't know how their W-2s are. I'm not a tax guy. If you haven't paid your taxes, it's past April 15th.
So
you owe interest, brother.
File that extension.
Mm-hmm. But no, Amir Khan is one of these guys, like you said, NIL. I think we've seen managers before. I think it was Red Lightning, Florida State. See, I got it like that. I got it like that. He would have made money, the Florida State guy.
He would have made something.
Oh my goodness. There's been strength and conditioning coaches too. Me myself, if I wouldn't no, I'm kidding.
I already knew the blasphemy is about to come out strong. Y'all can hear it too. Y'all know it's about to happen.
No, seriously though. Amir Khan, I think this is game changing for everybody involved in college sports. And I think the next step is tying it into esports as well too, now that we have college football back on EA Sports and video games, because I'm sure there's different people, content creators, that are creating whatever for their university and things of that nature too. So I'm pretty sure that'll be wrapped into it, man. NIL is beautiful, man. Yeah. Getting paid in college, real money, there's no beating it, because nowadays things are so expensive. It's like I can offset the cost with my own name, image, and likeness, however that may be. And Amir Khan is amplifying that, with social media. It's a beautiful thing in this generation. I can't hate on it at all. If you hating on, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, are we talking about NIL now, just in general?
Well, we talk about him specifically.
My fault.
Because he was just the biggest one.
My fault. I don't want to jump.
I saw that was a team manager, not even a player. I think it's kind of the first time that we saw that jump. Go ahead. And what else you got on him?
Oh no, I was done on Amir. I was just about to jump into the NIL.
We got some good stuff on NIL. I think this is really going to change the dynamic when it comes to influencers, because now I think it shows you don't necessarily have to be the star player on the team. You can be an athletic trainer. You can be the number one student in the cheer section. You can be the mascot. You can be the strength conditioning coach. You can still do whatever you enjoy and now get paid a very good sum of money doing it. So I think the transition to everybody being an influencer, and if you haven't been to a gym in the last 3 years, everybody has a camera, everybody's recording their workouts. I think now, though, regardless of what your profession is, there's going to be a camera on you, because this NIL money seems to be flowing faster and more than we really thought it was, and now everybody's going to be getting paid, or at least it seems like it. Now, let's just jump into NIL in general. So my thoughts of NIL is, number one, it's a beautiful thing for players to actually be making money from their name and likeness. And I think it also levels out the playing field for smaller universities or colleges that necessarily didn't have the money for their budget to pay players under the table, to buy them cars, to send their parents to different neighborhoods. Like, now everybody's on the same page. So now not every player who's, top 5 in high school class wants to go to Duke. They want to go to Kentucky. Maybe they do want to stay home. Maybe you have somebody that goes to Vanderbilt. You have some players that go to Rutgers, because they're going to make money regardless of where they go now. And it's not just making up super teams and everybody wants to go to Kentucky. So I think NIL in general is amazing for the sport, not only for the players, but now competition is spread out across the board, especially for these small teams and even for different sports. Because I know one thing they really talked about is, well, if we have NIL, football and basketball players are going to be the only people that are getting paid, which, yeah, they might make the majority of the money, but volleyball players, softball players, swimmers, everybody seems to be getting this pipeline of NIL money. And I just think it's really good to see people working on their craft, being able to take care of their bodies, because they're not struggling to feed themselves. They're not struggling to just, clothe themselves. They actually have money, and now they can really focus on their craft. Because if college is supposed to be the really set up to be a pro, it's really hard to do that when you don't have money to be able to feed yourself the right way, to take care of yourself, to hire the right trainers. Sure, schools have great facilities and training programs, but there's so much more that goes into being a great athlete, like the student side, that some of these players needed help with. And NIL money, I think, sets them up perfectly for that, to be honest with you.
Woo-wee.
I'm a big fan of NIL. I can talk about that all day.
The first time I made $5 million, Trey had told me he had made $20 million. So like this man, when it comes to money, he already knows his thizzle. All right? So I'm going to take it from a different approach, because we both in agreement that it's a great thing, right? But I'm going to call out all the old heads out there. I don't even know which camera I'm live on. All the old heads out there, okay? Listen here. Stop condemning, berating, writing label against these young men. Why? Because, listen, y'all gonna sit up here and act like y'all wasn't paid?
It just wasn't paid the same way.
That's
what get them.
I done seen the podcast now.
Mm-hmm.
I done seen the podcast.
I seen your mom in a brand new Benz. You said you ain't have money when you grew up. How did that work?
I seen the podcast. You wasn't as you change your story depending on who you're talking to. 1 minute I was wearing the same pair of jeans each day in college. The next story is, we was eating good though when they're like, nah, brother.
They gave me a chain just on a visit.
Come on now. Don't hate. Y'all had y'all time. It's a new day, new generation. Stop hating. They can do whatever they want to do. Y'all, again, number 2, not only was y'all paid, stop acting like y'all wasn't. Number 2, all runners and agents, stop it. Number 2, y'all know, and y'all have said it yourself, some coaches and some universities, again, let me say it again, some coaches and some universities, one more time. Some coaches, some universities, not all. Some coaches, some universities do not care about these players.
Facts.
It is what it is.
Facts.
They are just trying to ensure that they make the most, they being the university, they being the coaching staff, they being the athletic department, bring in as much money as possible. It's the next Joe up. It's the next Jimmy up. It's not, I'm going to keep in contact and we have this great program of alumni and some, sure, but again, most are probably not like that. So while this athlete has a limited shelf life that he's proven him or herself for I don't know how many years during grassroots sports, and now they at the collegiate level, why not make as much money as possible? We all know that everybody can't make it big pro, but as you're seeing, if you can build a social media following, amplify that into brand deals and sponsorships, and you can amplify that and trick that up into, hey, I may not be the best player, but guess what? Thanks to my leverage, who I am as an influencer, and I'm still an athlete, now I can bring X amount of dollars to your university. Yep. Like I see with a lot of these, the twin basketball players. Oh my goodness.
Who?
Oh my goodness.
Boozers twins?
No. They females.
They go to Miami.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, them. I forget their name. They was doing it, you feel me? Like, didn't nobody care? I couldn't tell you one thing about Miami women's basketball. No disrespect to them.
I know they got 2 million followers.
Boom. You see what I'm saying? They bounced around from university to university. Before then, see, I'm going to take it back. I'm gonna take it back.
one.
These ones was cut up like some onions. The Gonzalez twins.
Okay. Yeah.
I forget Dylan and what's the Tumbler? Huh. Yeah, y'all remember them twins? They would have made bank, man.
Oh yeah.
They would have made bank. Now, that's just what I'm saying. There's been so many just naturally gifted people who have big personalities, kind of like an Amir Khan, kind of like a Red Lightning, kind of like the twins down in Miami. And I think, who's the gymnast too? It's even outside of the big three of a big two,
any
rather.
Sport now.
Yeah, it's any sport, man. That's what I'm saying. I love it, dude. Get paid. That's all that matters, man. Get paid, being a good person, all that other good stuff, man. Come on, stop hating. I don't understand why people are hating on NIL. Like, stop it.
Another thing it's going to
Go
bring,
ahead.
and this kind of ties us into the next point,
Woo.
but NIL
Talk all
money,
day.
I think now allows players, regardless of the sport, to be able to still go pro and live off that money. Because everybody complains, well, the only way to really make money is go to the NBA or go to the NFL. But there are pro leagues all around the world which give you just as much, if not more, just life experience. If you could live in Europe, you travel around Europe, you play basketball. If you're somebody that really loves your sport and loves your craft, going to the NBA is not your only option now. You can get paid in college to play your craft. Maybe you're an undersized guard. Maybe you are, a tall receiver, but you catch with your chest. Now you can go play in a different league, still be a pro player, have a social media following, get some brand deals, get some, some people catch with. You see a lot of receivers catch with their chest. Okay,
Oh,
you can
man.
run, you can jump, but you can't.
Hey,
catch.
listen, brother. I was all hands team for a reason.
You keep on saying that.
Special teams,
Pull up the tape.
all hands, onside kicks, brother. Come on now.
There wasn't a lot of onside.
No, my fault. Go ahead. I cut
Wasn't a
him.
lot of onside.
Cut him.
So next up, because NIL is beautiful, don't get me wrong, love NIL, but the transfer portal specifically, I have some gripes with. Having kids transfer to 8 different schools in 8 different years because they have 8 years of eligibility to play in college, it needs tightened up a little bit. And I wouldn't be mad if the NCAA put some type of committee together to just manage how transfers work. I don't think you should be able to transfer in the middle of the season. I don't think you should be able to transfer if your team is still playing in the tournament or the playoffs or whatever your conference is. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think I need a little bit of tightening up coming from the NCAA. But how are you feeling about this?
No.
Okay.
Listen, we've seen plenty of times coaches leave, either right before or right after in a tournament or in a big game. So why don't the players have the same freedom? For a long time, they have been the rabbit on a treadmill and a carrot being dangled in front of them. Now they like, well, I see some carrots over here in this field, and I see a whole lot of carrots over in that field.
Yeah.
And that come with my own tractor, too. And I want a tractor because I want to grow some more crops on my own. Yeah, I want all that. So why not get all that if you can in the transfer portal? And then not only that, let's not act like some coaches aren't telling these kids, hey, this isn't working out. I think you should look at a transfer portal.
That's valid.
And I'll do what I can, or maybe I don't like you. Maybe you're not my guy.
Facts.
Good luck. But I'm telling you right now, you're not starting.
Yeah.
Why would I waste my time?
Another thing I think is going to be really important, I think the culture that these coaches build is going to be more important than ever. Because with kids having the option to transfer at any point in time, I think actually building a culture that says, hey, I'm here to not only grow your skills as a player, but grow you as a person, to make sure you get your education. I feel like we're also going to see kids stay in school for longer. Because obviously, if you're not a top draft pick, if not scouted to be a first-round draft pick, maybe you stay in school another couple of years, get your education, and come out and possibly be more skilled, be better, and you can get a higher draft pick. So I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into this transfer portal and when it comes to building a culture because, like I said, kids can just leave whenever they want. So if you are somebody that's like, hey, coach and me just do not mesh together, you're going to get up out of there and you're going to get paid. One, I seen specifically every single player on the Baylor Bears basketball team is in the transfer portal. So right now they have no players on their current roster, which I think is absolutely insane because one of two things is happening. Either there's so much money being thrown around from these other schools, or they're saying, hey, our facility's not good enough, our coaches aren't good enough, our meals that we're getting are not as good as another team on the horizon. So I think building up not only the culture that they represent, but their facilities, their coaching staffs and things are going to be probably more important than just how much money these kids get paid.
Yeah, that brings up a good point, but I also think that it comes back down to as well knowing what that particular kid wants.
That's true.
Because you can have all this laid out, and then they pull a move and go to LSU basketball program, and you like, why they do that? Ben Simmons. Oops. I forget the other cat name.
He was still number one overall pick. It didn't matter where he went.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I forget the other cat name who just did that. I think it's AJ.
You talking about the one that went to BYU?
BYU.
Hey, if you're giving you $4 million a year, I'd suit up right now at BYU.
You see what I'm saying? It's about what they want. Some kids really want to go to a big program or whatever. Other kids just like, hey, just give me that bread. You're going to, like Trey said, you're gonna see kids now staying longer in college because it's like, shoot. Well, now it's not NBA or bust. It's not NFL or bust. It's not professional league, whatever it may be, or bust. I can milk this cow and play longer now.
Facts.
In college sports.
That's one thing I wish that college had going for them more, because I think we can all agree there was a lot of players that came out that were like, man, I really wish they developed this part of their game to where if they went back to college, they should be able to do that. Biggest one for me, Ben Simmons and Zion. Like, everything we've said is you just have to develop some type of a jump shot. If you can give us some type of a jump shot, some type of a hook in the lane, some type of a little fadeaway in the post, like, your game would be so much better and it would translate so much better. Not saying that they would have stayed just because they were getting paid money, because if you're number one pick, you might as well come out. But I think a lot of kids now, you're going to see a lot more skilled players come out just because they stay longer. And then, kind of the last part we have for this update, women's college basketball is on the rise.
Yes, sir.
And it's interesting because women's college basketball might be the most interesting thing to watch in March Madness, even though the boys are playing. I just feel like women's college basketball is more exciting to watch. It might not be as athletic. People aren't getting dunked on, but girls are super skilled. They play. They have a lot of camaraderie. They're making moves. And I don't know, how are you feeling about women's college basketball kind of coming to the front of everything?
It's better than the WNBA.
Yeah, but that's not saying much.
The product is better. It's marketed better.
Yeah.
The fandom is better.
Yes.
The uniformity is better. Like the jerseys are better.
Facts. I agree.
The courts are better. Everything is better about women's college basketball than the WNBA.
Yeah, I agree.
Stars are created in the WNBA. I mean, excuse me. In the college.
Yeah,
in the college. My fault. Stars are created in college basketball for women. Stars are created in the WNBA. They go to the WNBA and it's like, oh man, what happened to Ivory Latta?
Oh, they got to be already stars when you get there. There's no building it because it's funny too, because you go from women's college basketball is the most viewed, most watched type of women's basketball, and they go to the pros and it's like a fourth.
Don't care.
So if you don't get your name right in college, you go to the pros and no one's watching the games. I think it might switch a little bit because of the rise of college basketball. But since we're talking about stars, one of the saddest news that came out is actually Juju, tearing her ACL in the tournament. For me personally, I think Juju took a big hit when it came to being just the overall face of women's college basketball. I feel like this tournament run really would have cemented herself into kind of that Caitlin Clark role, where she's like, I'm now taking over the throne from Caitlin. Women's college basketball is great. Look how skilled we are. Look how good we are. But they need somebody to kind of grab a hold of that throne. And I feel like she was the person who was set up perfectly to be able to do that. And unfortunately, she did get injured. Her team went out early. But how you feeling about Juju?
Get well soon, Juju. I think that the year prior to this year where she got hurt, I was like, I don't see the hype. Anybody can take 30 shots and score 30 points.
You say that.
This year, her efficiency went up. I think that she improved as a scorer a lot, and also even as a leader. I know she doesn't have the typical leadership style, and she's a little bit different, but that's okay. Everybody leads in their own way. So she proved to me that, you know, she's really ready to step up to the test in competition and really prove not only herself, but that the university she plays for can compete with some of the powerhouses. So I think once she comes back, it's on and popping once again.
That's a big thing too, because USC before she got there was not this dominant women's program.
Not since Monica Wright.
I mean,
skipping over that.
So for her first year, it was you get buckets, but you have to do everything for your team. As they continue to get better players, she's going to stay there because women graduate college. They're not one and done. Women like their education, okay? So their team is going to progressively get better because women stay in college the whole time. Do they not? She's going to be there for 4 years. Is she not?
Stop this, man.
You think she's going to leave early?
Silly.
Okay. Look, she's not leaving early. Now, another woman we're going to talk about on this who actually was the number one pick in the WNBA draft, Paige Beckers, who, fun fact today, if you haven't been following Paige, she was actually the number one recruited high school prospect over Caitlin Clark, over Angel Reese. I feel like injuries kind of did derail her career when it comes to her being the number one face of college basketball when it comes to the women's side. You know, Caitlin Clark kind of took that role. But she's done exactly what we thought she was going to do. She was an amazing player on both sides of the ball. She could score from three-point line all the way to the paint. She was a number one overall pick. She ended her career as a national champion. And it's just nice to see coming back from all the injuries that she had to still be a great college player. Was really nice to see.
Yeah, I think that she has one of the more storied careers, and she'll always be looked at as that. Again, it's just one of these things to where the WNBA is trying, the other professional women's sports league that they just played in a few months ago.
The 3-on-3?
Yeah, that's trying to. So I think it's heading in the right direction, and Paige is one of these players who could possibly be the face of it. You know what I'm saying? They calling her PB5 already.
Everybody gotta have a nickname.
Gotta have a nickname, right?
If you don't have a nickname, that means you're really not a lottery pick, to be honest.
Facts. I think she'll do good in merchandise. And, you know, that's one thing I will say about the WNBA players right now. Their sneakers are hotter than the men's sneakers in the NBA right now.
I agree.
Crazy.
Because no one's really come out with anything.
Crazy.
That looks good.
Crazy. Outside of Anthony Edwards, I'm telling you right now, it goes not in any order. Anthony Edwards, Kobe's, LeBron. Sabrina's. I don't even see bronze like that anymore.
Well,
I don't see bronze like that. I don't
play in LeBron. They just wear them.
I don't see bronze. I don't see Curry's. I don't see Kyrie's like that anymore.
I got some low top Curry's and the most comfortable shoe I've ever had.
I feel you. I'm just talking about right now. Same thing with Paul George. I don't see the Paul George sneakers anymore. I'm telling you. Sabrina's go crazy. I forget the other girl name. Oh my goodness. Aja Wilson. Hers about to go bananas. Like, dude, the women coming with it as far as the sneakers goes. So I think Paige, she might have something a little crazy too, because, you know, everybody love Kobe's, but like I said, Sabrina's popping. So if you give her another low top, now you got another low top sneaker in the market, man. Come on, dude.
Another thing about Paige, she went to probably the best place when it comes to just like views, because she is now at Dallas. They're calling her the new Luka because, you know, Dallas lost Luka and they just need something.
That's fire.
So they're calling her the Luka of Dallas because Dallas got rid of Luka. And just like that, another episode in the book. Like I said, this is just a rundown on some of the top stories from the NCAA, men's and women's. A lot of good things. Lottery picks showing up, putting in work. Everybody's getting paid NIL money. And women's basketball is on the rise. And you heard it from this man right here. It's better product than the men's March Madness. So, if you are new to the channel, if you're, stopping back, if you like what we had to say, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified every time we post a video, and leave a comment in the comment section down below of any news that you think we missed or how you feel about our opinions. And just like that, we will see you in the next one. Peace.